Market update of San Diego. Let's see how the market is doing for the month of May. Hi, my name is Roxanne Govari with Pamberley Realty, along with my partner Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in. If you're tuning in, you know, feel free to leave a like. We are super excited. Probably today's one of my favorite topics, seeing what's going on around San Diego. So let's go ahead and get started.
Let's go and get started. Okay, so let me go ahead and share and see what we see, how the market is doing. Okay, so we always start with 92116 because that's where our office is located. And so let me make my screen bigger so that we can see better in terms of numbers. And we're always looking at the month before because the month that we're in has to finish before we can get statistics and data for it.
Correct.
So it's always the month before that we're looking at. And this information is always very helpful because it kind of gives you an indication of how things are going and how things are doing. So
Yeah.
let's take a look and see what we see. And so we're looking at 92116, which is the zip code for this area. And it consists of Kensington, Normal Heights, and also University Heights. But I guess we're not significant enough to go
Have our name up there.
on
Yeah.
the name for the zip code. So, nevertheless, this is the area that we're in.
Right.
So looking at the numbers, let's see if you can interpret what's going on. So go ahead and
Well, the biggest one that I'm seeing is that bottom one, the inventory of home for sale. There is a big, you know, big increase,
big
54% from
inventory.
24 homes to 37 homes, up for sale. I think that's a pretty good number compared to last year. Um,
Yeah,
Days on the market until sale, basically cut in half. That's something pretty impressive. Um, I mean, also, new listings, five more new listings up on the top. Pending stayed the same. Closed sales, a little bit less, but it looks like there's a little bit more supply compared to last year during this
absolutely.
last month.
A lot more supply, but interestingly, there's actually less homes that actually sold and closed
Yeah,
than the year before.
that's true. That's true. Also, the median sales price is a lot higher, a whole lot higher.
Median sales price went up, which is very surprising because what we are hearing is that the prices might be falling, but that's not reflected in these numbers, which is very very interesting. And the other part that they're saying is also that the inflation is at check. So if inflation is at check, I am having a hard time looking at this and seeing that since last year we've gone up in price by 17%, and yet inflation is under control. That's
Yeah.
very interesting data. So let's
I
but
mean, also looking back to those numbers, what kind of interesting to me, like you said, there's less closed sales, maybe because the prices are homes are overpriced, maybe. That could be another reason why.
and then the other thing is, since so we've gone into June, and I think this is basically looking backwards a little bit. I don't think that we're going to see appreciation happen the same way in the second half of the year. I think we're going to see some slowdown, and we'll see. The numbers for June will be interesting to take a look at, but at least when you're looking at the numbers for May, it is very surprising to see that the numbers are looking up.
Correct.
Okay, so what do you see in the condo market?
So here it also looks like there's an increase in new listings, a lot more pending, a little bit more closed sales. So it looks like you know, this might be moving a little bit more, a little bit better. Um, there's a large increase in inventory, for
Large
sale.
increase in inventory,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Almost like more than double of
yeah.
inventory.
Correct. So
Yeah, yeah.
looks like there's a lot out there.
There's a lot out there, and then closed sales. Well, at least in the condo market, looks like condo market was moving around along just fine because it looks like there's more closed sales in the condo market than um, in the single family home market.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So go ahead and tell us what you were thinking looking at the charts.
Yeah. I mean, here as well, it looks like, we're a whole lot more above the average on the, median sales price for single family homes. We're almost at the 1.4 mark, while the rest of, the MLS and the San Diego counties, a little bit above the million mark. And then on the, townhouse condo, slight below, maybe because I feel this because we have kind of smaller condos here in this area.
Hmm.
Um, but almost getting to that 600 mark, and slightly below the rest of the county. So
Right. Now imagine that $600,000 for a one bedroom condo. That's a
exactly,
lot of money.
yeah.
So if the folks are thinking that these prices have to come down to more affordable levels, I tend to agree.
Yeah.
So let's move on to 92103, which is the neighboring zip code to our west side,
Yeah.
and that is the neighborhoods of Hillcrest and Mission Hills.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and then looking at these numbers too, it looks like, everything looks like it went up but the median sales price. So days on the market was a little bit less, so maybe, it was moving a little bit quicker, but inventory went up. Um, closed sales went up a little bit, pending sales, just by one more, and new listings up by one more. But
Right.
the median sales price did go down. But if you do look at, the year to date, it still has gone up regardless.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So that's interesting to see how that worked out, and it's also interesting to see that the inventory of houses also went up, and if you're looking at year to date, looks like overall prices went up, even though not by a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So and um, and then if we're looking at condos, if we're looking at condos, it's almost flat.
Yeah.
Prices are
Yeah.
flat in condos in 92103.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, and then this last month, price went down. So, but overall, kind of staying the same as last year. So not a lot of change. Maybe just I mean, a little bit more new listings, more pending sales. There's a lot more movement than last year, but at that same price range, which is pretty impressive. Pretty weird to
Exactly.
see.
Exactly. And then if we're looking at the charts look like basically the median sales price of a home in Mission Hills is a lot higher than the average sales price within the county, but that's understandable because we're basically comparing apples to oranges, right?
Yeah.
Because you
Hmm.
could have a home in El Cajon and you could have a home in Mission Hills, and the prices are going to be way
A
different.
lot different. Yeah,
Uh,
for basically almost the same size home. So,
exactly, exactly. All
and the
right, so
condo, yeah, the condo also kind of impressive too. I mean, there are a lot more, I would say maybe bigger condos in these areas. I mean, maybe Hillcrest still small, but a lot more expensive in those areas. So that's probably
right.
why it shows a little bit higher.
Let's move on to Del Mar and see what we see there, huh?
Let's see. That's like the one outlier compared to all the other ones. It's always something new.
Absolutely, absolutely. Del Mar is definitely the outlier if you're comparing it. Well, we'll go ahead and compare it to Carmel Valley as well, but Del
Okay.
Mar is definitely an outlier if you're comparing it to North Park for sure.
Yeah.
And that's understandable given that we're dealing with North County coastal rather than metro area of San Diego. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
okay. So what do you see in this area?
I mean, I see that a lot of things are, it looks like it went down compared to last year for, last month, less new listings, less pending sales, less closed sales. The price did go down, but I feel like for Del Mar, it could be skewed by one or two properties that are worth, a couple millions.
Yeah, yeah.
So very hard to kind of to really pinpoint that. And then, yeah, days on the market did go down. Um, Inventory went down a little bit, and month supply of inventory went down as well. But then if we look at the whole, year to date, the price did go down, you know, just a little bit.
It's interesting though, if you want to, if you're looking at, median sales price of a home, so median sales price of a home in Del Mar being 3.1, and median sales price of a home in Kensington or Normal Heights 1.4, exactly half the price,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that's also very interesting
yeah.
to see. Okay, so going back to Del Mar and looking at the condo market. What do you see in the condo market?
Yeah, here also, I mean, it looks like it went down a little bit on the new listings, pending sales, closed sales. The median sales price did go up. Uh, Days in market went down, a little bit more inventory than last month, and then a little bit more month supply of inventory in there. I
Yeah,
mean, I feel like those numbers might be a little bit off too, because there's, not that many listings, new listings and stuff going through,
right,
in that
right.
area. But year to date, the price did go up, so a lot more
Condo.
compared to the homes. Yeah.
Look at how the rest of the county is behaving. Even though it's basically moving up, but it's not moving up in a really fast pace. As a matter of fact, I think this is so this is a comparison between 2015 and 2024. Um, and so we don't really even have the numbers for 2025 in these charts.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at Carmel Valley and see what we see there. Okay, so in Carmel Valley, looks like, what do we have here? Um, Median sales price. Well, it's certainly a lot higher here
Yeah.
than the numbers in metro area and in Kensington, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Correct. Yeah.
but but they're not higher than Del Mar.
No, they're almost around the same. I mean, probably like 500,000, 600,000 less, but still very high prices compared to, here in the metro area.
Well, and what's interesting to me is that the prices are flat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Compared to last year. So if you bought a house in 2024, you could not even sell that house this year without losing money.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
that's
that's very different compared to here in the metro area, where there was, some, appreciation.
right, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, you're right. And then let's look at some condos.
Yeah, condos looks less on the listings. I mean, less pending sales, less closed sales. There is a whole lot more inventory, it looks like,
Hmm.
from 28 to 44.
Yeah.
And the median sales price did go up too as well. But then year to date, you know, down 10% is it's a pretty big number.
That is a big number. That is definitely a big number. And when we look at the charts basically tell us that this area is a lot higher in price than the rest of the county, which we kind of knew.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so let's look at some actual homes and see what we see. What do you say?
All right, let's go
All
for
right,
it.
let's take a look at take a look at 92116, which is our metro zip code, and let's look at some actives actives, and let's also look at some sold ones for the past month, actually. So let's go back to May 1st, and let's take a look, see what we see. So the least expensive. Let's start with
With the sold ones?
92116
Okay.
first. Okay, I am interested to see what price is the least expensive in 92116, and that seems like it's a studio at
Mhm.
360 square feet for 327. And see, interestingly enough, here the data is different than what we just saw. They started the price at 375 and now they're at 325. That's a big jump for this studio. Well, or I should say, big drop for this studio.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty well, remodeled and
It
fixed
looks
up.
nice. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so now from there, we're going to let's also go on and see how much a one bedroom would go for. So here we have one bedroom, one bath, 608 square feet, listed at 398,000. And let's take a look at this and see what this one looks like. And actually, this is not bad, huh? This is not a bad one bedroom.
No.
It's on the first floor. Has It's actually pretty nice. I don't understand why this one has not been sold yet. And
Looks
at
like
three
it's been 209 days in the market.
long time. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then let's go and take a look at some of the sold ones. So the well, this is very interesting. Okay. I'm looking at Del Mar. So let me look at 92116 and see. Okay, so the least expensive was a one bedroom, one bath, 526 square feet, and on 34th Street. Okay, and that's interesting. It was listed at 389,000 and it sold for 401,500. Sometimes if you actually price it below market value, you're going to get more money for it.
Correct.
And it
Yeah.
seems like that's what happened. This is actually a pretty nice complex. I like these complexes where they have a little courtyard in the middle, and it's very pleasant. So, oh wow, and it's a beautiful unit. I really like this unit.
Yeah,
High
very spacious.
ceiling, nicely done kitchen. This is actually a very nice unit, right? Washer and dryer
Yeah.
inside, nice balcony. This is very, very pleasant. What do you think?
I like it. I like it. There's probably an HOA fee, I'm guessing, for this one though, which you'd
Yeah,
probably have to consider.
$1,000. Yeah.
300. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then let's move up and see what's the most expensive that has sold. So the most expensive that has sold is uh, 4873 Vista Street, and three bedrooms, three bedrooms, three baths for 3,043 square feet, and sold for 2.9 million. And let's take a look and see what the house looks like. It looks like two-car garage. Looks like a nice size office. I like the fireplace, very nicely done. Looks like open floor plan with beautiful kitchen and sub-zero refrigerator and double oven. Wow, look at this. It has two double ovens. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Or maybe this is the oven, and that looks like it might be the
Yeah.
microwave, and maybe air fryer, or maybe espresso
Okay.
maker. So, but nevertheless, it's an updated kitchen and it shows very nicely. Yep, there you go.
Yep. Very nice.
Very nice appliances, nice sink. This even looks very nice. Looks like a nice pantry and fully upgraded house. Bathrooms look really nicely done. Walk-in closet is beautiful.
It's
Not
very
sure,
move-in ready.
very much so, very much move-in ready, and love that wine cellar. You can
Yeah.
never have enough storage for wine. And looks like it's a two-story house with plenty of space for entertainment, right?
Definitely. Definitely.
Definitely a beautiful property for sure. Okay, so now let's go to Del Mar and see what we see in terms of the least expensive and
Yeah.
most expensive, because Del Mar the price ranges vary greatly, so it's actually more fun to look at the swing of prices in Del Mar. So one bedroom, one bath, 628 square feet, and for $645,000. And let's take a look at so the condo looks like it does have a pool, and it's a beautiful space inside. It's pretty spacious, I would say. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Definitely a lot of, I mean, the flooring looks good. You
Hmm.
know, probably not the biggest kitchen, but it does, it's very open with a lot of room. So
Absolutely.
walk-in
And
closet too.
closet, which is always nice, right? The complex seems to be nice and quiet. Older complex, but it's Del Mar. It's
Yeah.
close to the water, and that's what you get. So very nice. Okay, let's take a look at the most expensive in the area and see what we see there.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to take a look at the most expensive, I'm gonna come across this house, and these two houses have been on the market for a while now.
Yeah.
Uh, so this one is at 75 million, been on the market for 200 days. So I'm thinking that they really need to drop the price. And we've looked at this, so
Yeah.
let's move on. And then this one on Oceanfront also has been on the market for a while at 24 million. So I guess that might also need a price adjustment. And then from there on, let's go to Balboa Avenue. And Balboa Avenue, we haven't seen this one, but it also has been on the market for a
Yeah.
while. Oh, but look at that price drop. They dropped from 28 million to 20 million, and I
That's
don't
a
believe
that's a very significant drop in price.
significant drop, and I don't believe that we had seen this house before. So
No, we hadn't.
let's look at the specs of it. Five bedrooms, six bedrooms, eight baths for 7,300 square feet, and let's see what we get. Okay, so it looks like it's right on the water. Well, maybe not right on the water, but it does have water views, and that view looks fantastic, don't you think?
Yeah. Very beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So the outside, it looks like you have a spa outside. Looks like you have an entertaining outdoor area. You with two eating areas. It looks like you have a like an outdoor oven. I don't see a pool, or actually, maybe they may
That might
also
be it right there. Yeah.
there. Yeah. Yeah, and you also have this rooftop deck that's very, very nice. So this is definitely an entertainer's delight. It looks like a beautiful two or three-story compound,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, with multiple decks. Oh, look like looks
Basketball court and tennis.
has a. I don't think that's a tennis court. It probably is too small for a tennis court, but it
Maybe
does
like paddle.
basketball hoop, and maybe this is a what do you call it? That
Paddle, the
what do you
paddle
call
ball or
uh,
pickleball.
pickleball? Pickleball. Yeah, that looks like a pickleball ball court exactly. So so it still is a massive massive structure, that's for sure. And at 300 square feet of living space, that's a lot of space. So beautiful kitchen. I like that island. Uh, the views of the ocean are spectacular. I think at 20 million, well, compared to that one down at the bottom for 75 million, I think this is a much better value. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely very nice. I
Very
would say I probably like this one a little bit better than the other one.
I totally agree with you. I like this one a lot better than the other one. And I would say, yeah, you're not within walking distance or right on the water, but at the same time, you have a lot more amenities. And then I really like this one. For the money, there's no way. I would totally take this. And look at this. You have a ball court. Oh, look at this! Look at the view that you get out of this. If for the money, this is definitely a much nicer value than the other one, I would say.
Correct. Very
Right?
nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
What about the most expensive one sold in Del Mar?
All right. That's right. I'm stuck on this one. Let's see what's the most important, that one that's sold. So the most expensive one that has sold within the past month is still the same at 5 million, 5.8 million, and 3 bedroom, 3 bath, and 1,900 square feet, and that's it.
Not too many pictures.
Looks like a fixer to me.
Yeah,
Well, there you have it. Thank you, folks, for joining us. It's been a lot of fun, and so now it's time for us to ask for business. So if you are in the San Diego area and thinking of buying or selling, there is my phone number. So please give me a call, or
reach out to me. You got my number there too as well. And yeah, any questions, whatever you guys want to bring up, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text.
there
Give
we
us a
go.
thumbs up on
There's
YouTube.
our website. Let me see. Let me get it. Uh, Let me get our website.
Our website's right there too.
There we go.
TabithaRealty.com. There you go.
Or if you're on Instagram, please give us a follow right there. And thank you for joining us. And please give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel so that we can bring more of these shows to you and make it a
Perfect.
great day.
Yes. Bye, everyone, and hope to see you soon.